All right, general math. We are finishing up chapter 1 today with exponents and orders or order of operations. So our first task is learning about exponents. So instead of writing something like 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, there's a much easier way to write that. We call the number being multiplied would be the base number, and then the number of times that it's multiplied. So in this case, it was multiplied 5 times is the exponent. So this would be written as 4 to the fifth. And if you took 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4, you would get 1,024. So either way, you're going to write it. It's simpler, and it is more simple, and it is nicer to read. So this is the exponential form of 4 times itself 5 times. Now, if they give us an exponent, for example, if we have -3 to the third power and we want to figure out what -3 to the third power is, we are going to just multiply -3 by itself 3 times. So as you can see, there's 3 -3s, and if we multiply a negative times a negative, that's a positive, and a positive times a negative is a negative, and 3 times 3 is 9, times 3 is 27. So we have -27. Now, if we have an exponent with a fraction, we actually have to distribute this exponent to both the top and the bottom of the fraction. So it's actually 2 to the fourth and 5 to the fourth. So 2 to the fourth would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. It's multiplied by itself 4 times. And then 5 to the fourth is 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. And as we can see, that equals 16 over 625. Kind of our last thing today is the order of operations. So you may have heard, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So if we are trying to figure out a problem that has addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, kind of all jumbled together, there's a specific order that we need to follow when plugging them into a calculator for figuring out by hand. So the first thing that we do is anything inside parentheses. And then we move on to exponents, and then multiplication and division are kind of tied together. So if you just have multiplication and division, you can just move left to right. Same thing with addition and subtraction. You can just move left to right with both of those. They're interchangeable. So here in this example, we have 46 plus parentheses 7 times 6 minus 1. So we know that we have to do the parentheses first because the parentheses comes first in our order of operations. And then multiplication comes before subtraction. So we need to figure out 7 times 6, and that's 41. So 42, excuse me. So 42 minus 1 is 41 because we need to complete everything inside the parentheses. So we have 41 inside the parentheses. And then we can move outside the parentheses, and we have 46 plus 41 would be 87. Here in the second example, we have brackets, which we treat as parentheses, and then we have more parentheses inside. So we need to start as far in as we can with the parentheses, and we have 2 minus 8, which is -6. And then we have multiplication outside of that. So we have 6 times -6, which is -36. And then we have an exponent on the outside. So -36 times itself. You would plug that into a calculator, and there you go. So we got 2 more. So we have 4 squared minus the absolute value of -4. And if you remember from the start of chapter 1, the absolute value makes whatever number is inside of it a positive number. So the absolute value of -4 is +4. So we actually have 4 squared minus +4. 4 squared is 16. We have to do the exponent first. So we have 16 minus 4, which is 12. And then lastly, with the fraction, we have 6 divided by 2 on top. That is 3. And then 1 plus 2 times 3 minus 3. We need to do this multiplication first because it comes first in the order of operations, as we see above, multiplication before addition and subtraction. So on the bottom, it's actually 1 plus 6 minus 3. So 1 plus 6 is 7, minus 3 is 4, and we have 3 over 4. If you have questions on PEMDAS, please let me know.